Do you get useful information to state the problem numerically, graphically, algebraically, or textually? How? Yes, I did get useful information. I got it analyzing the functions that we had in order for us to find if it was a numerically, graphically, algebraically, or textual function. We had to analyze really good the problem, but we could do it. Do you use mathematical language and notation to represent the problem? Yes, I personally used it when I had to transform the table that I took as an example for making it into the 4 functions. When I had to transform it into natural language, I had to use mathematical language and notation to present the quantities we were using and how we were changing it into letters and not just a function like a graph or a table that something people can read, like letters. Do you identify the present variable, dependent in each function? What do you learn about it? Yes, I could identify them. Even though it was a hard task for me to do it because I had a little bit of problem trying to figure out which was what. But I learned that the independent variable is a variable that doesn't depend. I know it sounds a little bit of clumsiness, but it does not depend on another factor. It's its own, like nothing can change it. And the dependent does rely on other factors. So yeah. Do you write the function or equation that describes or models the selected situation? Explain. Yes, I did write it. First, I had to clear my points and know what I wanted to find. So I analyzed the function and that we found on the newspapers or in the magazines. And we took what we thought that was useful for us to work on our key activity. We also got some help to identify them with our professor that he guided us on how to use them and how to know which one was a function and if it was a function that we needed. Explain what the purpose of this project was and did you achieve it? Why? Well, our purpose for this project was for us to identify the functions that are on our daily basis and that we don't notice them. And we did achieve it because we looked on things that we look every day, on like the newspaper, and we didn't notice that there was presented a lot of functions. So we could identify its parts. So meaning that thanks to all the research we did, we could bring it up together, all the functions that we needed, and identify the parts that we were asked for. Do you generate strategies to achieve the goals? Yes. We divided ourselves, the work, but also working as a team. I was a leader, so I told my team that they will do this and that part, and we will bring it up together and check it, the three of us together, to make sure it makes sense. But as well, if someone had a question, we would support each other in order to have a good development on this work. Did you listen in an active and respectful way to the proposal raised by your partners? Of course, we all listened to everyone's ideas, and they were taken in account. But at the end of the day, we all took just the best ideas for us to have the best delivery on our work. As a general conclusion, what did you learn from this project? I learned personally how to identify functions on newspapers, magazines, internet articles, on everything, due to the investigations that we made, and thanks to the explaining that our professor gave us, as well, that we learned how to identify its parts. Not only if it's a function, but identify its parts and what kind of function it is. And I personally learned what an exponential equation was, because it comes in my report that we found this equation and we didn't know what it was, so I had to investigate it a little bit to understand how this equation would take part of our work. If you had the opportunity to do it again, what would you do differently? Okay, what I think I would do was make the investigation a little bit less charged, because we had to do a lot of stuff in a short period. For me, it was a really short period. But And I also would prefer to doing it with people that I already have worked with, because in that way I know how they work and I know that we can have a really good development. Even though it was a good experience to work with another people, I personally think it would be more efficient if we all work with the people we would like, so we could have a better presentation and will be a lot more easier to get along with each other. And another point, it would be like finding the functions, making it in an easier way. I don't know, present it to them, or just like giving them clues on how to find them, because it was a really hard task to find them.